Free split on the desk.
Big one, absolutely. Let's see who can take out Theme Park. Let's get underway. Cyclops on the defense burst, Direwolves on the attack, and hopefully, for everyone's sake, we don't get an Oregon repeat.
What did you do during the break? You got a bunch of energy under your belt.
I got messaged to bring more hype.
Oh, who messaged you?
Mrs. G. Miss G. That's a really bad inside joke there.
That's a very bad inside joke. No one is going to understand that one.
All right, let's move forward. Montaigne banned out by the Direwolves. No real surprise there. Dockerby by Cyclops. Over on Theme Park, obviously the touch desk on it. The desk touched on it. Both of these two teams have played Theme Park, but against two different levels of opposition.
That's right. You could just wrap it up. Just wrap it up. Just wrap it up, mate. Pack it up and go.
I need to go back. Hang on. I need to go back to the hype. Both of these two teams, guys. Guess what? Two different levels of opposition that they've played on Theme Park over the last couple of months or so. You know, for the Cyclops guys, they've been able to play against Damwon here, get themselves, you know, a team that's on the same level as them on this map. Direwolves, more so some lower level opposition. So it's a little hard to take into account the results that we've seen from them on Theme Park. That's why the 5-0 scoreline that they've got here, the recent record that they've got here, can't read too much into it. Let's get underway. It's round one. Cyclops on the defense, Direwolves on the attack. Grand final spot on the line in our third and final match of the series. Get hyped, guys. Come on.
You know I can't match that, Xenox. Come on. I'm not matching that hype, mate. Not yet. Maybe if it gets a bit tighter.
Maybe if you live and breathe Siege, you'd just be hype all the time, mate.
Siege gets me hyped all the time, mate. I live for it. In terms of ban phase, though, just quickly touch back on it. Montaigne taken out this time by Direwolves, so that means that the Glaz is now re-available for Cyclops and Aniton specifically when we switch halves. Let's follow that up with a Kaid, which can be a bit of a nuisance on a lot of these objectives. Also, Dockerby on the attack. Interesting one, I guess, for map sweeps. And then Maestro also taken off the board. So, again, very much like Oregon. So much still left available. Kaid, the only probably quote-unquote traditional ban, and even the Theme Park a bit of a stretch.
Bringing it back to a little bit of serious now. No, for both of these two teams, this is where you go into the whole saving strats. In some ways, well, no, you don't.
Not again.
No. This is where I'd actually like to see the opposite, where you actually kind of test some things out that you might want to actually bring to the major, or even just playing this really default, but to a high level, right? Like, okay, this is a map. We want to see how do we sort of go about playing it. We want to bring it to the major, but we also don't want to meme it up. Oregon, to be completely honest, is a map you can kind of meme a little bit, right? We've all seen it thousands of times. Not much to hide, but also not much to really play on it. But this is a map where you probably do want to actually test some things out. Even just the way you sort of position, or you sort of clear out rooms, clear out areas. So fingers crossed, double fingers crossed here, guys. But I'm hoping both of these two teams will really try here on this final map of the series and see how Theme Park really plays out, because I don't want to see this just turn into a free-for-all ranked game.
I didn't think you had any more copium left, but apparently you do. And it's already opened up like a ranked game. Black Ray prone inside of Cafe gets the first trade delayed. Harambe, though, will find it. I was looking to take above control. Drone inside of Cafe leads A-Gator to be able to find that pick back. And it's already quite chaotic.
Hook me up onto the copium, Guz.
I think you already are.
I think I'm running out and into the tank.
Just bring some hype. Bring some hype. Bring
More
some
hype.
hype. Right now. I want some hype.
What a start for Cyclops here on the defense. 90 seconds left in the opening round. One player advantage. ED sweeping across upper arcade on the sledge. Starts to work these floorboards a little bit, but obviously has to go and get that diffuser, and does so successfully. Still time here for the Direwolves, though, to bring this round back.
70 seconds, in fact, and Souffle will now begin to work the split hatch. Interesting that Direwolves are bringing Mav. Again, considering Kaid is bad, probably should be electing to bring Habana instead, but all power to them. Thatcher obviously available as well. 50 seconds now remains. Cyclops with decent positions in the site itself, and
Right.
with the man advantage.
Throw
Nitro
it.
prepped and ready. It will be thrown. Doesn't quite land though.
Well, that's a little reprieve. You get the hatch open. Nitrocell misses the mark. 37 seconds left in the round. Only a one-player disadvantage for the Direwolves. Certainly in a winnable scenario now for them, but pushing into sight, not going to be easy. Sawyer gates still need to be taken care of as well. So Flay gets rid of Gatorada. Does this open it up now? The Direwolves, 3 versus 3. Gator, backside of Throne. Suzu as well, inside of Throne 2. Has the ADSs and the Sawyer gate that still need to be kind of cleared out. Now that shield down. Anaton has the ping information. There's a second player. He knows it. There's the red ping.
Oh.
Pika though with a good little off angle. Now suddenly, Direwolves in a winnable situation, but it is the only one that's left standing. And unfortunately, ran straight into the final defender of Cyclops. So despite bringing that round back towards the latter stages, Cyclops do take the opening round here on Theme Park.
Certainly getting a little bit spicy there in the closing phases of the first round, but Cyclops with good groundwork, able to capitalize and able to hold on. Again, quite aggressive off-site. Not too wild, definitely teetering very, very close to that line that was kind of drawn on Oregon, where once it was crossed, there was no turning back.
I think, that, yeah, maybe the first 45 seconds or so of that match, of that round, I should say, you're probably sitting back thinking, oh, here we go again. But they honestly picked up the pace in the mid-round, and especially towards the execution phase. Full credit to Direwolves, sent it on site, hit their shots. Pika with a good little shot late in that round. Thought that really opened things up for the Direwolves, but time became a factor. That was the biggest part, which I guess that in itself is a factor because of what kind of took place early on in the round. Losing a couple of players, took a bit of time. You had to go and get the diffuser again. So that ended up being the demise of the Direwolves. Opening round goes the way of Cyclops. We head to Bunk Daycare now for round number 2. Obviously, we don't have a whole lot of information when it comes to Theme Park guys at this level. Maybe probably don't really look too much into the results of Direwolves. If you look more into the Cyclops results, you can probably get a bit more of an idea. And with that, 63% defending win rate for Cyclops. So Theme Park, I'd probably look at it as like a 4-2-half defender-sided kind of nature. Does mean if Direwolves can get an early attacking round win, puts them in good stead moving forward for the rest of this first half.
Yeah, we'll see. I do think that, again, with bans on the board, should theoretically lean a bit more 3-3, but time will tell as to how the map is actually going to play out and how seriously the teams are ultimately taking it, which skew results. Souffle down below getting droned up ahead. Don't mind this too much. Might be an opportunity for a grenade from down below.
Well, I think you can already see the fact that they're taking it a little bit more seriously, right? The way the Direwolves are droning out, taking their time with those drones. Cyclops also, destroying a couple of them already. Being rather aggressive, but not too overly aggressive in saying that. You're just running around in that doorway. It's quite risky. Minute 35 seconds remaining in the round, though. So ultimately, putting a bit of pressure on, not too bad right now from Cyclops. And they actually find the down onto Souffle. Self-revive will be effective. Gets Souffle back up. A lot of drone usage actually from the Direwolves.
Gator with a Nitro, a rotation thrown in towards barrels. Reckon we need to be very careful, and he runs straight into the arms of Black Ray. Souffle doesn't trade, and now needs to be mindful of his behind. Harambe doesn't trade either from the window position, and there's the flank. Direwolves were trying to be very conservative at the start of this round, but it just wasn't enough to tame this aggression.
I think Direwolves have got cafe control, but they've already lost too many players, and, well, forget about control at this point. Cyclops win out. I think full... Oh, there's...
Hello?
Hello there.
Oh,
that's a great shot from Pika. Unfortunately, does not have diffuser. Believe that might be over towards Cafe. 30 seconds left. Oh, that's another nice shot. That's a down onto Gator. Pika just saving some great plays here, maybe for the personal highlight reel. In terms of being able to win this round, though, it's surely a foregone conclusion, but has done a great job. It technically is a 1 versus 2. Again, doesn't have diffuser though. I think had he gone over and picked it up, maybe would have had a chance, but yeah, even still, was always going to be virtually impossible. That was a 1 versus 5 down to a 1 versus 2 though. Full credit to Pika. But full credit in general in that round, of course, the Cyclops. Thought they played that really well. Good aggression over towards Cafe. Really denied Direwolves being able to just push in easily and get position. I think without also being too overly aggressive, not really making too many mistakes either. And the fact that the replay literally starts at 1 versus 5 guys says it all.
Yeah, that was a round. I just think that Dai was as careful and considerate and, as I said before, conservative. They tried to be in that round and genuinely trying to actually clear out Cafe and even down below. Cyclops just then ramped it up to another level. And yes, it was very aggressive, but at the same time, it was also playing into the attack that Dai was going for. So, no mind at all from Cyclops. Off now to a decent start, going for 3 straight. We head over towards initiation. And Dai was... This hasn't been a very good start from them at all. Maybe they need to lean more into the playstyle that we did see perhaps on Oregon.
But I think, yeah, Direwolves on Oregon were actually not that memey. It was more so Cyclops. Cyclops, the way that they played Oregon was just all over the place. Rush into sites, little to no care with their positioning or the clearing. And obviously when you kind of play that way, it's going to make things a little bit easier for the Direwolves, right? So that's why the last match you don't really put any emphasis on at all. But I think the way that Cyclops are really playing Theme Park here, definitely more concern from their end. And they are taking this one a little bit more seriously. And that's going to force Direwolves to have to respond to that. And I think Direwolves are the kind of team that's going to probably play into their opponents. If Cyclops are a little memey, they'll probably play a little memey. If Cyclops are taking it seriously, I think Direwolves will then sort of follow suit. So I think we're probably going to be getting a pretty decent theme park here from what I can see in the first couple of rounds, clearing out these castle barricades. And Cyclops right now are just making it very difficult for Direwolves to get control of the second floor.
2 minutes remain, and Black Ray opens up the account for Cyclops. And once Black Ray starts to get activated, he's very, very difficult to shut down. Already 4 and 2.
Ooh, Claymore.
With the Claymore, you can just you can see the corpse on the ground. The run out not successful. Harambe though, that quick peek in towards Cafe finds success. So minute 45 now remains. Already multiple players down. Pika adds on to the tally. Black Ray as well. I mean, I don't even know what to say because it's just impossible to track any of this.
Well, Cyclops are defending vigorously over towards Cafe and Arcade, trying to really deny Direwolves from pushing in, but also not really then falling back to site, not really playing site at all. A couple of peeks through the windows, and also we saw the run out on the Claymore. So Cyclops are a little bit aggressive on their defense this particular round. But they were somewhat aggressive in the last round too, but it was more controlled aggression. I think this time they just kind of let the reins go a bit. The run out attempt, I think there was a spawn peek. That's 2 of your deaths, right? So if those 2 kind of reel it in a bit, then it's a 3 versus 4. In this case, it's a 3 versus 2. Sue's over towards waiting room and initiation. Still has that shield up, and technically, the on-site defense for Cyclops should be relatively intact, right? Because we haven't seen any fighting over towards the site itself, so all the utilities should be still up. Soyuke, if there was any castle barricades placed on site, and there's still some frost traps as well. So 2 versus 3, not impossible, still with these shields.
Was no scout ahead with drones. Just being patient and ensuring that they know what's in front of them. Grenade Pika over towards waiting, doesn't land, but Black Ray does. 3 in the round for Black Ray. Could have found a 4th, but the timing not quite there. Souffle and Pika look to flood site. Successful onto Suzu, but can Black Ray find these trades?
He's on the ace.
Could be on for the ace. He can't deny the plant though. The spray through the wall, it doesn't land. His position revealed. Souffle with the LMG.
Souffle's got an adrenal surge. You've got to use this. You've got to use this, Souffle. Oh! It's the headshot turnaround. Black Ray got the initial shots, or at least it felt like it from that point of view. From really the point of view from the other side, maybe not, but still, what a What a shot from Souffle. And Direwolves are on the board here for Theme Park. Big round, though, from Black Ray Guys. 7-2, or now 7-3. Had a quad, was on for the ace, and really the spray through the soft wall. Basically just unlucky that the spray was a little bit off to the left. Had the right idea, still understood the sort of, you know, the game sense as to where that was going down. Just millimeters in it.
Defenders, protect your bombs from being defused by attackers.
Back to throne we go for round number 4. Direwolves hot off that previous round will now be looking to get the second and I guess get the pass by. Maybe 3-3 was a little bit optimistic. It seems like the shutouts from Cyclops so far have actually been pretty decent. And even that last round, yes, they were a man down. Time was also the enemy of Direwolves, so another close one that didn't go their way in this instance.
10 seconds.
Nonetheless, though, throne room can be a tricky site to attack, and the way that Cyclops are extending quite aggressively doesn't make it much easier.
Attacker's objective is to locate a bomb and defuse it.
I do like this lineup, though, from Direwolves, actually. Flores for the utility clear. Jackie won the Jackal to try and clear out these robots. Cyclops are playing rather aggressive with their positioning, so being able to just push them back a little bit, even if you're just scanning those footprints from into arcade or cafe, being able to then just force them out of that position so that you can get a bit of a foothold in. That is such an aggressive angle from Black Rabbit. Harambe droned him out. Really, really well played on the drones from Harambe and the Direwolves, and they get the opening pick. Black Ray now 7-4. And they've just worked really themselves into the game now, the Direwolves. The first 2 rounds, Cyclops, just think their defense was really, really good. Very oppressive, suffocating for the Direwolves to get into sight. But Direwolves have slowed the game down themselves, playing more into the drone game, and also giving themselves more time to get these opening picks to then push into sight. They lose Jackie Wu through a Nitrate Cell by Catarata over towards Yellow Stairs. Assuming from down below. Yeah, really well played. We got a game here, guys.
On our hands?
No. Just here.
It's just here. Well,
Yep.
where's here?
Here's here.
Oh, I thought he was there.
No, it's over here.
Ah, right. Well, Harambe over towards Split Hatch. He'll open that up with an exothermic halfway into the round. Not a bad little milestone for the Direwolves to achieve, and ED as well with the hammer will be able to come across, get vertical lines of sight down below. Pretty even at the moment. Kings as well on
the
site.
difference right now, though, is the Direwolves have got vertical control, utilizing the sledge, being able to really open up these sight lines from above. Something that the Cyclops have been able to sort of shut down a bit is allowing Direwolves to get position. Well, this round in particular, Direwolves actually have position.
And they have the man advantage. 50 seconds now remains. More drones will head in towards the objective. Things start to get uncomfortable now for Cyclops. Fewer and fewer safe places to sit, and it'll be even less once the yellow wall does get opened. Forces Anaton to move in. I think he feels the need to go for a play. I thought maybe he'd push the hallway, but elects not to.
But is time going to be a factor, though? Direwolves, I think it was back in round 1. Time definitely caught them. Obviously, they've been able to get a lot of vertical pressure from ED, and it has forced Cyclops to rotate on site to move around. But still, back of Thrones, not a bad place to be for Anaton. Vulcan canister lasts a while. Doesn't matter, though. Direwolves just push in anyway, and then through sheer numbers, brute force their way onto site. That was a much better round from Direwolves in this entire series. Clean and precise. Great use of the drones. Good push above, good vert control, and then a really good late round execution. I think arguably the best round we've seen from either team start to finish in this series.
Yeah, very difficult to fault the Direwolves in that round. They did well to contest control up above, and most critically, their drone usage in towards objectives seemed to be really strong. There were a couple of periods there where we were seeing a flood of yellow pings on the site itself, and the push was well executed, indicating that they knew exactly where those defenders were. Ultimately, with the manpower that they did show, able to overwhelm the site, just sheer numbers. Followed it. Well played. 2-2 now the scoreline. Probably at least the bare minimum that they would have liked. 3-3 though now I think becomes
Attackers
quite
need
a lot
to
more
locate
realistic.
and
Probably
defuse
wasn't
as many
anticipating
bombs as they can.
this objective to lean necessarily towards the Direwolves, but it did. And in fact, Cyclops are actually going to reattempt.
Yeah, interestingly enough.
Attackers have discovered the location of a bomb.
They did win out in the first round, though. See if they can win out here once again. 2-2 scoreline now. Rounds in a row for the Direwolves. They've really fought back. It's a full-sided attacker repick, guys. All 5 cards, which obviously is normal. Do whatever the hell you want, really.
5
Still
seconds
do
to
like
go.
this Jackal pick. And they've got the Nook as well. So, and the Yana. That's a lot of clear
Attackers are
potential.
moving to defuse a bomb.
Direwolves probably expecting Cyclops once again to play off site, to be aggressive, hold these positions. And they're really going to play in to try and shut that down. Force a lot of ones, try and hit your shots, and clear out the map by getting these kills on the roamers, forcing, say, like a 5 versus 3 push onto site. Yeah, again, it's Cyclops looking for that opening pick via a spawn peak window. Doesn't work, though. Did get a little damage onto Jackawu, but he stays alive and can now push into the site and try and track down some of these roamers.
Need to see Souffle in this round on the Nook. Might be able to do a bit of damage, lurk around, find a pick or two, while the rest of the team pushes elsewhere. Like you as well, Jack with the PDW. Thought we were watching Dev Marta for a second. This is his guilty pleasure in ranked when we don't ban the Jackal, and oh, not a bad way to open up the account. Black Ray shut down too, who's been very, very dangerous, quite elusive on these defensive efforts.
Souffle does not work out well, though, for the Nook. Seeing out to AA Gator. Now Pika makes his way in too. So alongside Pika and Jackie Wu, able to really clear out a lot on this second floor. Although there's someone being aggressive. It's Anaton on the Mozzie. Had a little hole in the wall, but doesn't utilize it. Falls back, doesn't even go for the wall bang. In fact, just goes back to site, which I think is the right play for Cyclops. Being now it's 4 versus 4, minute 20 left in the round. Totally fine with that one, but Direwolves now getting above control. They have got the Buck with ED. No sledge, but that's fine. Buck will do. Put the pressure on, and Gatorada getting a lot of information over towards Lab. Does he go for this? I think he will. Yeah, easy one. Onto Jackie Wu. The power of the pulse at hand on display.
ED comes across, might look to get some vert, see if he can maybe find the trade, but at this point it's safe to assume that Gatorada's long gone. That said, he's actually still close by. The timing for ED, not ideal. Fortunately for him though, the Nitro in response from down below doesn't take him out, but Harambe's been taken out from Bathroom. They completely forgot that there was a player in that position and it's fallen apart for the Direwolves. Cyclops lockout site.
I love the defense though from Cyclops with the pulse over towards Lab and storage and then eventually into Bathroom, just kind of locking down that corner, because I believe in the last round prior on Throne Armory, it was actually a point where the Direwolves pushed through. There was a choke point for them and they were able to get good control of that and then push onto site from that position. So Cyclops actually shut that down, almost like shutting down a highway, and put the pulse there and said, all right, you just kind of keep them at bay. And not only was he able to get a kill, but he just kind of locks that area off, and that makes it a bit easier for the defenders elsewhere. Less positions that you got to worry about, and so I think Cyclops actually adjusted really, really well. I mean, typically if a team does repick, guys, they do have some kind of adjustment in mind. I think that was it.
Attackers need to locate and defuse
That's
as
not
many
bad from
bombs
you,
as they can.
honestly. Not bad. A little insight there from Jake Xenox
Mate.
Brander.
Just let you know, mate. That's why I'm going to be analyst at the Charlotte Major, and Dev's not.
I do look forward to seeing you on that desk.
Ah, I can't wait. I'm joking, by the way. Obviously,
Oh, wait,
but-
you're joking? I thought you were serious. As a man that lives and breathes Rainbow Six Siege, I thought surely.
Well, I do live and breathe Rainbow Six Siege,
I know.
but it's not enough apparently.
That's right.
I have to be
5 seconds
Rainbow
left
Six
before
Siege.
insertion.
How does one become Rainbow Six Siege? Asking for a
Play
friend.
ranked for 12 hours straight, and then you'll be one with Siege.
Ah, boy.
It's been a really good map though. I've actually enjoyed this one. I think the first round or the first 2 rounds were maybe a little iffy, but even then, I think it was just Cyclops' defense being so aggressive, maybe caught Direwolves off guard. They adjusted and then readjusted, 2 rounds to them. And then Cyclops themselves have now actually adjusted too. So it's kind of like a match where there's a bunch of little mini battles that have been going on. You know, you win that first battle, Cyclops getting a good start, but then Direwolves win the second battle by responding. So now it kind of feels like, again, Direwolves now need to respond to close out this first half, because suddenly if Cyclops do win out, a 4-2 half here, defense, Theme Park, pretty good, pretty par for the course, and Direwolves then don't really have the advantage anymore. So this has been a much, much better map to watch. I mean, Skyscraper was pretty good too, as Jackie Wu down below in lab had a little opportunity, but that was a tough one. Didn't have the most amount of time with that angle.
Playing the Capitao, an operator that doesn't see a whole lot of play these days. Pika, though, anticipates the drop of a Gator. Finds that pick. I think Direwolves, they've actually genuinely, as the half has gone on, done a much better job at playing their style, still of decently being conservative, etc. But actually reading into Cyclops and having a much better idea as to where this aggression's coming from. It's a lot more dialed in than it was perhaps in those first couple of rounds. The smokes from Jackie Wu to cut off the balcony. Souffle pushes off the back of that to reclaim control of the stairs, but a nitro from Aniton hits the mark.
Oh, there's a third one. Ganarada wants to get in on the action as well, and the round's over. And the half is over. You can still hear the explosions ringing around Theme Park, guys. A 4-2 half for Cyclops. They close out the last 2 rounds just like they did to start the half, where they won the first 2 as well. 4-2 in the end. Very fascinating first half. A lot more entertaining, in my opinion, when both of these 2 teams definitely giving it a little bit more care. Emphasis on the care. They are caring a little bit more here on Theme Park. A lot more utility play rather than just running into sight, trying to swing everything. We're seeing, you know, the nitro cells, the Vulcan canisters, and good drone play, good clearing with the Jackal. Just lots of mini games really coming out here on Theme Park, and Cyclops just pulling out ahead.
Defenders, protect your bombs from being...
I guess the question now, Jake, is what are the win conditions for Direwolves to try and come back in this game? Obviously down at the half. Maybe a little bit down in spirits. What are your thoughts?
I don't think they should be down in spirits. I mean, firstly, it's the first half on a rather defender-sided map. 4-2, so Cyclops, yeah, they've got the lead, but in some ways you would almost expect them to have the lead at this point. So for Direwolves, it's just about continuing to play as normal as possible. The biggest thing will be, do they too also play aggressive here on the defense, you know, holding these window positions, making it difficult to get in to Cafe, Arcade, or do they play a little bit more on-site defense, allow Cyclops to maybe get some position, but then have to work through, you know, clearing utility, for example. So, I mean, Soya Gates, you got the mute jammers. Obviously, there's the Wamai discs as well. Not really too much to clear, I guess, but we'll see how this does play out. And now, Aegator on the Ying, because Aniton already has got the Glax.
Bomb diffuser has been dropped. Attackers recovered the bomb diffuser.
Yes.
Well, Aniton obviously big Ying, non-tank player, but also big Gaz, big Glass.
Yeah, Gaz, my mate Gaz.
It's close to Glass. You
Close
get where
to
I'm going
Guz.
with.
Yeah,
He can't play the both. He can't play the Glass and he can't play the Ying. So Aegator onto the Ying. Thatcher being brought to the table. Now, of course, has not been banned out this entire series, but also hasn't been really picked this entire series. So the Thatcher plus the Ying, we'll see how Cyclops will play this.
I don't mind rather that change up. The Thatcher EMPs be really useful in exposing some of these positions. And Gatorade is actually just going to send it straight off the back of those first 2 EMPs.
Well, there goes the Candelas, but it was after the death of Aegator. And it's actually utilizing that. Maybe you can play the Ying and the Glaz. Got one, but died after that, regardless. 4 versus 3. Direwolves now with the player advantage. Black Ray inside a Cafe. So you get right in front of him, of course, has those nades, but right now just holding position, should get the kill, and does. Harambe didn't look his lefts and rights as he goes to cross the road, and Black Ray will punish him. 3 versus 3, never mind, couldn't even finish that sentence before Suzu gets the kill onto Jackie Wu. And now Pika and Souffle is all that's left in a 2 versus 2. I just can't finish talking before someone dies. We've got a minute left in the round and it's a 2 versus 2. But I think in some ways this is what Cyclops want to force. These quick attacking rounds based off of the Ying, the Thatcher, the Glaz, open things up, get in there quickly, try and stifle the defense of the Direwolves. And it's worked. It's worked perfectly.
Souffle.
He didn't blink. He just... care. Oh, did he get droned there? I think he did, right? I mean, this looks like he got droned.
Yeah. Souffle not even looking the right way. So, quite intriguing there from Direwolves. Some of their defenders maybe being put under the pump a bit. And Cyclops putting them under that pressure, as you mentioned, forcing these aggressive attacks. They back themselves in to get these entries in towards the map. It might not be the cleanest, it might not be the prettiest, certainly not the easiest to watch. But that goes for the Direwolves as well. Imagine trying to keep track of that as a defender. All these players flooding sites, super aggressive, Candelas, smokes, everything popping off. Would not be fun.
Well, remembering, as we go to a 5-2 scoreline, Direwolves have not lost a match for 115 days. And they are now 2 rounds away from that streak being over, guys. Which is probably a little bit disappointing because in some ways they'll, you know, and obviously when you lose this kind of match, you sit back and say, well, it doesn't really matter though, does it, right? Like, who cares? But like, when you win, and it's, yeah, this is a very important match. We'd love to get the seeding, the extra prize money, and get into the grand final. So there's always 2 sides to the tale. And right now, Cyclops have been the better team in this entire series as a whole. When you take into account they didn't really play to their potential on Oregon. And I thought the way that they actually finished off Skyscraper was really, really solid from Cyclops. I know it was back in match 1. It was a little while ago, but for those who missed it, it's a rather close kind of game. It was a 4-3 lead to Direwolves, and then Cyclops won the last 4 rounds. Very mature performance from them. Thought they closed out well on the defense. Yes, Oregon was just a meme, and then Theme Park so far, all Cyclops once again. So really showing that they are a team that with this extended map pool, you know, the likes of Border and Theme Park and Skyscraper coming in, they can play these maps. And that's going to be so big moving forward for this team. Having such an extensive map pool is so important.
Kataraj just contemplates life for a moment, probably waiting for a drone or additional information in towards initiation. There is said drone. Bolts over. Really open up the round if try to find something. Pitching charge on the wall, masked by noise. EMP as well onto the hard breach, and this looks very, very scary for Direwolves. The Selma forces Jackie Root back. Oh, but he still wins the fight. Well played by Jackie.
Gets rid of the Thatcher. But Anderton on the glass. I've almost said it again.
Ah, come on. You've got one job.
I've got your name.
It's Glaz. G-L-A-Z.
Yeah, but I've got Guz in my head. G-U-Z-Z.
I know. I'm always on your mind. It's okay.
Mate, you are living in my head rent free. I'm gonna have to start charging you. Adrenal Surge has dissipated from Black Ray. Lands those shots. Jackie Wu is down, and Black Ray heals himself up as well. The Glaz of Anderton. Not really looking at a whole lot.
No. Does allow Black Ray now, though, to push forward a little bit. Good pressure at the moment from the attack. Cyclops edging closer and closer towards this match point. Surely if Anderton gets the kill inside of Vold, it all but confirms it. Do they have a read, though? No!
Oh,
the
Pika.
swing from Pika. It is immediately traded, though.
Oh, 2 versus 1. Surely Black Ray doesn't win these. He's already clutched off earlier. Oh, the timing pulled out the nade. He could have probably got that headshot. Now, it has time, 40 seconds to get this diffuser close by. Gets rid of the Sawyer Gate with his drone, doesn't need it. Oh, player prone. I think they've got the angle here.
Nade, though.
Oh. What was that? To just... Oh, what am I watching? Black Ray! Headshot, got the kill! Oh, and then he gets traded, though, by Souffle.
I don't know how it got that close.
Dun, dun.
Well, another round for the books, I guess. Ty was doing a decent job to close out. I thought Cyclops actually shaped up pretty nicely for the attack. Yes, it was a little bit in your face and a little bit aggressive, but Jackie Wu obviously kicking things off over towards initiation did a good job to keep the Direwolves alive and kicking, and they also didn't feed the Glaz, which was pretty important. Easier said than done when you want to try and hold control of waiting, but Direwolves were patient and played well into their man advantage.
A 3-5 scoreline. And the Direwolves hold on, keep this streak alive, make their way to the grand final here for the APAC playoffs. Get themselves at minimum top 2 seeding, top 2 prize pool, or do they drop down to the lower bracket? That's the stakes at hand here. Of course, the loser of this match will play the winner of Elevate and Chiefs. That series to be played pretty shortly. And guess what, Guz? That's a big game. Elevate Chiefs. The loser.
Oh, that's big.
Guess what? The loser's out of the playoffs.
No. 4th seed for the major?
I know.
It's a disaster.
It's a decent compensation. You'll take it. It's fine. But you'd rather get to the lower bracket final.
Yeah. I'd want to be in the lower bracket final.
Attackers must locate and defuse a bomb.
Should mention, of course, the difference between these positions. $10,000 for first, $5,000 for second, $2,000 for third, $1,000 for fourth, and the SI points are the same.
Yep.
Wow, they're really so it's $1,000 difference between third and fourth.
That's big. Think about all the packs you could buy.
All the chips you could buy.
All the chips you could buy, yeah. What kind of chips are we talking about? Hot chips or?
I was thinking more like
crisps?
blue chips.
Oh, like poker chips.
Yeah.
Oh. See, I just went straight to the food.
You would.
I am kind of hungry. I'm trying to time my Nando's order with this game ending.
No.
And then the Nando's closes in
No one cares.
25 minutes. So,
No one cares. Focus on the game, guys.
sorry. There's not much happening, honestly, in this round. I guess things to note are the Osa now in play with Anaton. Take away the Monty, give me the other shield, and he'll look to enter. Once again, pretty swift from Cyclops. Things go out over towards waiting, and there is a presence waiting. I gotta say, the EMP play from Cyclops has been pretty poor. Not quite sure what that one in the hallway was looking to achieve unless I've missed something. The second though over towards control, that will help open up initiation. Don't mind that at all. Salma's deployed. Shield now. Can they clear that? I think Sufei is already under enough pressure, so it probably won't matter all that much, but... Oh, the Flores drone. The Rotero denied. This is becoming a little bit of an issue actually, but Agator finds an opening elsewhere.
Sergey back online as well. Just under a minute remaining of the 9th round. Cyclops close to match point and series point. At that little upside down turn around from Gatorada, almost lands that shot, but almost dies too for it as well. Late, Pika, both taking a bit of damage. Pika still has one more gas pave in his back pocket. Only 4 drones available for Cyclops in terms of late round information. May not have a whole lot of it. Now, Pika goes down to Black Gray. Surely from here, Cyclops should be capable of closing out this 9th round and getting to match point.
20 seconds now remains. It'll be tough for the Direwolves to push this offensive back. ED still has that shield though, but it might not count for much. That said, they push deep. Oh, it doesn't matter ultimately. 1 versus 5 for Jackie Wu. Inside of office, gets 1. But he needs 4 more. Have you heard the story of Jackie Wu? No, I haven't. Cyclops on match point.
Jackie Wu, peekaboo. And he's dead. That's the story. Match point, series point for Cyclops, and deserved as well. They've been by far and away better here on Theme Park. Just wonder, do we get a repeat in the grand final later on tomorrow between these two teams. Certainly possible as the Direwolves take a tactical time out.
Sorry, I'm just taking a tactical timeout as well. Is that okay?
Yeah, I guess. Okay.
All right, I'll see you in 60 seconds.
Well, you've already had about 30 seconds, mate.
I'll see you in 25 seconds.
Yeah, okay. Well, Guz is going to take a tactical timeout as well, alongside the Direwolves, both needing to sort of just recharge their batteries a bit. For the Direwolves, you do wonder where to from here. It's a bit of a road back into this series. Wonder if Harambe will instinctively do his dance despite maybe losing the match. He's not used to losing, in fact, has not done so with the Direwolves at this level. Oh, no. Oh, no, it's a technical timeout now. It's been extended. I was waiting for us to come back. Guys, you're not allowed a tech timeout. You can't have one.
Look, I need a tech timeout. Can I still quick rehost? No, it's okay.
Are we really about to have a tack into a tech into a rehost? If we do, I'm leaving.
I ordered my food, so I'm happy. I'm chilling. Although that said, it's now probably going to come before the game ends if this goes on for a while.
Oh yeah, if they're getting up and stretching, I am not a happy chap.
Even I'm stretching a little bit now.
Yeah, I think it might be time. That's a really nice gaming chair from ED. True gaming chair. Not a fake one.
Jack is alright too. I think Pika is the one that needs to step up now. He's been left behind. He's just got the old wooden chair.
Well, what do we make of the Direwolves here in this match, guys? We'll bring it back to a bit of normality, a bit of seriousness. Do you really take anything away from this series?
No. Look, I could see maybe us being able to stretch a point that at the major they'd be coming up against this kind of playstyle potentially, and it could be decent practice, but I really don't think they will be. So ultimately, it's just a bit of fun, and if they can gain a bit of confidence and a quote unquote momentum, whatever you want to call it, from it, then good on them. But I think this is just a couple of days for them to have a bit of fun and earn some cash. Really, the seeding's always nice, and the title. Ultimately, though, does it really mean anything? I don't know.
Well, look, I've seen comments thrown around like Scrim, ranked game. I can't really disagree, to be honest. I'd probably put it a little closer to like a Scrim, glorified Scrim, as it sometimes gets called. Typically Direwolves themselves, when you look at their cams, they're quite eccentric, up and about, upbeat. They're not down because they're upset that they're losing. They just don't really look that interested in this.
Can't really argue with you on that one.
You can't. I mean, I'm just speaking with what I'm looking at. I'm not making it up. I'm not being able to see it. I can see them right on our screen. Edie's usually smiling. Harambe is usually also up and about. They are very deadpan right now. And it's not because of the game. It's not because they're losing. It's just, I don't know, it's the kind of match that there's really not much, well, there's nothing on the line really besides a little bit of money. And some of the seeding, which, I mean, if you really wanted to go into that, guys, is there really going to be much of a difference between the seeding?
Not for these teams. Neither of them are going to finish fourth, so it really doesn't matter.
I think back in week 1, I remember saying, for the APAC region, when you look at seeding options, it's almost just completely irrelevant, right? Because a lot of these teams typically are just happy to be there. They are literally just happy to qualify, go to the major, and play to their strengths and play to the level that they feel like they're capable of. And I don't think seeding is going to make a difference. If you have teams from NA or EU, yes, some of those teams would probably care about seeding and getting an easier path through group stages, and that can be considered a factor. But for APAC level teams, being completely blunt, it's just about getting there. That is the goal for all of these teams. If you wanted to make an exception, maybe Cyclops could be that kind of team, just because they've had a bit more consistency at this kind of level, guys. So I could maybe see that. And the way they're playing and the way that this match is playing out, it looks like they will get top 2. So even that kind of plays into the discussion a little bit.
Yeah, maybe. Obviously keen to see, in particular, probably Direwolves, how they got the major being their first event. really don't know what to expect. And I feel like constantly throughout the first stage, we've continued to doubt them, even heading into the playoffs, as to whether or not they're actually good enough to make the major. So maybe they'll prove us wrong, or at least myself. I don't know what your point of view is. In the major, they could come out of the gates and absolutely shock everyone. Don't know.
Yeah, and just to make it completely clear for those that maybe missed week 2 or haven't followed along with the format, all these teams playing still in the APAC playoffs are confirmed to the major.
10 seconds remaining.
No question. There's no if this happens, if this happens. No, literally all 4 are 100% confirmed for the major as per the format.
Attackers are heading
So
out.
if you're a Direwolf fan, no stress here. Don't worry. Your boys are still looking really good when they head over to the Charlotte Major. You know, Direwolves will show up. Cyclops as well. This is good for them. There's always this sort of conception for Cyclops. You know, do they choke? Do they throw away leads? Do they fail to close games out? I mean, even if they did lose this game from here, I don't think that they would necessarily care, but I think it would be good for them to actually just close this one out like a 7-3, 7-4, get the job done, head to the grand final.
Gatorada, there's a player to your left. D close by. The Ash Charge deals with the Banshee, forcing him to swing, and he wins the fight. The trade, where is it? Black Grey finds that one, almost taken down. The flick, insane. Ultimately survives, and Cyclops on site.
Yeah, no surprise. You look at that lineup of Cyclops, and it's just made to rush onto site as quick as possible. 2 minutes and the plant's going down. Big kill from Anaton. Suso did get off the plant, so briefly pops the E1D and goes back to planting it. Anaton watching Blue Room.
Attackers are activating
Arcade
the
stairs as well, doesn't find anything. 3 versus 2. There's a drop down in Suzu. I mean, if he had got that kill, I'm thinking they win the round. Now they don't, because they've just lost Anaton, and Harambe, with the sheer numbers, is able to overwhelm site. There's a mute jammer right next to the diffuser. You reckon the mute jammer should just block the diffuser? Like, is it? I mean, not in the game sense, guys, in a more realistic sense.
What are you on about?
Don't you reckon it would, like, it's a mute jammer jamming electronics?
I guess?
Yeah.
Yeah?
I don't
Sure.
know, mate.
You're clutching at straws here.
You just watched the same round that I just watched, and you want to maybe
I did watch.
Yeah.
I did watch the same round as you just watched, Xenox. In terms of that aggression towards the site, I mean, it wasn't half bad, but unfortunately, just didn't have the manpower to close out the post. I think had it have been a 3-3, much more attainable there.
Yeah.
For Cyclops, he saw that entry, went for it. Divers were quite a long way away from site, but able to retake quite well. Cyclops though still with a decent buffer. 2 rounds. We'll close it here. Head over towards initiation to see if they can get the job done on the attack.
And a bit more of a normalized lineup now from Cyclops. Very much expecting them to slow the approach here in the 10th round, or the 11th round. 6-4 scoreline. Do we head to overtime, guys? In this best of 3 on the 3rd map, do we go the distance here? Between these 2 juggernauts of APAC South and APAC North to see who goes to the grand final.
Ooh, yeah.
Dev Growl.
Oh, no.
No, he didn't.
What?
What?
Where was that? Was that friendly fire, or?
I'm so confused. He wasn't even near anyone.
None of the barricades are open. Quite peculiar.
He
But
shot
that has
himself-
been
he
the...
shot himself in the foot.
What? That has been the theme of the evening. Peculiarity. I don't even know if that's a word, but I made it up. Lots of twists and turns. But can Cyclops take this on, head themselves to the grand final? Potentially finish first here. Stage 1, APAC League.
Ooh.
Those stakes, Jake, they are just...
Well,
You think winning 6 Invitationals is big.
Nah.
This is a very close
Forget
set.
about the major, mate. It's all about getting to the APAC Playoffs Grand Final. That's where the real money's at. Well, there is a little bit of storylining going on here. If Cyclops if Cyclops allow this to go to overtime, they're not going to get some friendly comments. Right? There's always that perception about Cyclops choking away leads or not being able to close out games. And even in a match like this, where the stakes are low, they've had a decent lead, and it's slowly evaporating.
Are we talking about the frauds?
Frauds no more.
Frauds no more.
Yeah,
That's
frauds no more.
poetic. Good impact from Souffle to deny that Selma and that line of sight.
Good
Probably
defense.
not going to achieve too much, so well played there. With 70 seconds to go, I'm actually starting to get quite concerned here for Cyclops. How can they get themselves back into this round? Trying to clear the mute jammer, but the Rotero is denied. Also, I think the Selma has also been taken off the right-hand side of the wall, thanks to an impact grenade once more from Souffle. So they are really stalled out here, and Cyclops will need to brute force a push.
They got this wall opened yet?
Not fully. I don't
One
think.
more EMP grenade, 2 more Roteros, but I think probably time is probably gone past them now. Aniton on the Osa pushing up now with the Talon shield. Aniton does find the kill as well shortly after placing that shield. Souffle in initiations getting one back on Blackray. If they're both standing, would they actually be able to shoot each other? I think the answer is yes, as Souza just pushes through the doorway. Edie gets one back, doesn't matter. Trade's going the way of Cyclops. They are on the verge of the APAC playoff grand finals. It's Cyclops. They take out the win against the Direwolves. They shut down that streak of 115 days. They win the upper bracket final. Now, one more series awaits them.
Well done there by Cyclops. They tick the box, they get the job done, they head through to the grand final, and as you mentioned, end that streak for the Direwolves, which is a little bit heartbreaking for us APAC South fans, but nonetheless, Cyclops
It's the fireworks,
deserve it
by the way.
of that spot. Okay,
The pyrotechnics.
those are some pretty late fireworks. I